Hello, welcome back to another episode today of A Moment in Time. This is totally the first time I picked record this morning.
Totally the first take. It's been so long since I've seen you, bro. Like, how are you doing? Like, it's been years. Oh
totally not the second take because someone didn't have the desktop audio recording. That didn't happen.
It's okay. It's
my bad, guys. My
lies. Bad. This is hearsay. Okay, that's all I'll have to say.
Oh my god.
Yeah, welcome back. I mean, we don't have a guest again today, but that's all good. We'll just hang out with the three of us.
Albert, you are the guest, okay? This is our podcast.
Yeah. On my channel, I guess.
What are you doing here?
We're commandeering it right now. We're taking over.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, clearly, I don't know how to check the audio before I click record, so maybe someone else does need to take over.
This is a hostile takeover. Albert, step aside.
Totally for the first time this morning. Alex, what have you been up to this past week?
Well, totally the first time I've answered this question, and totally the first time that I've said, I just thought about this recently, like yesterday, because I knew you were going to ask this question. And I've done absolutely pretty much nothing this entire week. I woke up, went to my desk, played some games, ate dinner, went to bed. Pretty much 7 days straight. Last night I had a family party for my cousin's 13th birthday. But besides that, there has been not much of anything going on just for this week, so...
Hey, parties
very,
are good.
very lax week for me. Lax week.
Was the party for anything in particular?
My cousin's 13th birthday.
Oh, I'm sure you just said that, and that just went over.
I did just say that, but
oh, Albert's
Larkin, right? I'm not.
I did just say that, right?
Okay.
No, yeah. You actually just said that now, and you said that about 3 to 4 minutes ago as well.
Yeah, during the first take, I did say that too. Yeah.
I heard party.
Okay.
I didn't hear a reason why. Okay.
Sorry, Albert's lagging, bro. Albert's lagging.
My cousin's 13th birthday.
Nice.
We went to a pizzeria in Brooklyn.
Oh, now you're making me jealous.
Yeah, bro. It was just like one of those like wood fire.
Good old
pizzas,
L&B. Some good old Spumoni Gardens. Top tier pizza.
Excellent.
Yeah, that was nice. I saw some family I hadn't seen in a while.
You should do a pizza show where you try out different pizzas in the city. Doesn't someone do that? I forget.
Yeah, doesn't that like Dave Portnoy? He does the one bite pizza reviews.
You could be the next Dave Portnoy by doing exactly what he does. I don't think that would actually.
Yeah, but I could be the next him by completely ripping off his entire shtick.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I'm 2-bite pizza reviews. That's the difference. I take a second bite of pizza before I come up with my review.
That does remind me.
That's redefining the meta right there. If I do say so myself.
I mean, I did have a similar thought when I first moved here to Washington to like try different pizzas, and then I tried different pizzas, and I was like, no, let's not do this.
Yeah, because it can't be as nearly as good as New York pizza.
It's not.
Yeah. Or in your bagels. Your bagels are probably not nowhere near as good either.
So I don't think I've had bagels since I've been here. Apart from
Albert, when you come back, I'll get you some of my dad's bagels.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be going to your house anyway, so
that shit slaps.
Yeah, I don't normally have bagels too much anyway. Like it's normally just at the store. Like at a convenience store or something, I'll pick them up. So I've never really been a huge bagel guy. Well, I do like bagels a lot, but I've never been someone to go to a bakery all that often, or like a
deli.
A deli to get that.
A bodega.
Yeah. Pizza's always been more of my thing, you know. Pizza's delicious.
True, dude.
Yeah.
Anyway. What's up, bro?
Well, I do always have bagels when I go to church. Because that's one of the best parts. When I was back home, they'd always have donuts and
they serve bagels. So cool.
They serve bagels at church. My church never served any type of food besides like communion.
Yeah.
Well, now it's like people bring in stuff like so that like different families do stuff each week or whatever. But anyway, Larkin, what about you? What have you been up to?
Well, let's see. Well, first of all, I should just address my fucking digital piano just came in. That's part of it. There's another piece on the floor that actually looks like a piano. Anyways, I'm very excited to start playing this weekend. I printed out some cheap music at the office.
Nice.
gonna try to learn. This might be a little too ambitious, but I'm try to learn Moonlight Sonata's first movement. But I think that's more of a reach goal. In the meantime, I might have to print out something more attainable and sort of build my way up. But
nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I wanted to get this thing like last summer, but I don't know. Partial procrastination, partial just couldn't find the right model. Yeah, I don't know. For whatever reason, this past week I was like, yo, this is the one. Let's go for it. Anyway, so finally have this digital piano. Hopefully it'll last. I want to like tune it or anything. I mean, Albert, we've talked about this a little bit, but like lots of advantages with digital piano.
Right.
Don't have to tune it. It's lighter, even though this thing was super heavy.
I misheard you, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" I thought you said I might have to tune it, and I was like, "I don't think that's how that works, bro."
I mean, the electrical wiring gets a little out of hand. You gotta do some manual repair. No.
You just grab a soldering iron, for the best.
Hey, also another like underrated benefit. I have roommates, so I can put on headphones and still play.
Yeah.
That's nice. Anyway, so I'm really looking forward to, doing a little more piano. But that was today. On Tuesday, I did, so basically Binghamton, my alma mater, reached out to me and was like, we're doing like a engineers week. Do you want to do like a presentation of some kind? Like talk about whatever, like getting a job, whatever the fuck, right? Whatever you want to do. So I was like, sure. I want to talk about the technical interview process. And so I did this presentation. It was like a 45-minute presentation about like technical interviews, like prepping for them, like what sort of that process is like, what sort of questions to look out for, like what are good strategies. And yeah, that was pretty fun. Bunch of people were like asking questions and things, and we had like a nice little discussion. Yeah, so that was fun. Other than that, just pretty normal week.
Nice.
But that was definitely
Nice.
definitely interesting highlight, because I usually don't put myself out there and like give presentations or whatever, like I don't know. So it was a nice little change of pace. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Pretty good week, I would say overall. Yeah, pretty good stuff.
Now, what about you, Albert? What did you do this week?
Yeah. So what did I do this week? I was sick for the weekend. Which you guys know.
Fun.
And then
Yes.
on Monday night, did I do anything? I don't think I did anything Monday night. I think that was when I started to feel a little better, and I was just doing some more like tasks and stuff. But Tuesday and Wednesday I went to the office. That was pretty dope. I do like going to the office. So that was fun. Tuesday night though, I went to a swing dancing class, which was pretty fun. I spent like 2 hours there. Got to dance with a bunch of random people. Definitely strange. There were a few moments where I was like, I don't want to approach people and be like, yo, you want to dance? But then I was like, well, I don't want to just stand here in the corner. so let's do that, actually. Yeah, it was interesting. It took me a while to get used to that. I also went with a few people, so it was fun to just hang out with a few friends and dance with them and everything like that. Very different from how I initially learned swing dancing. It was like a different hand position, stuff like that, because I think there are two different ways that people learn swing. One is where you have your hands out like this and then your partner's like this, and then the other one is where you have one arm in more of a traditional like dancing hold, I guess, where like your arm is on the back of their shoulder blade or whatever, and then the other arm is like down by like where your waist is, and that's where you're holding your other hands. So that's what I was used to, but learning a different type of swing and a different count for it was interesting. It definitely threw me off a few times, but it was a lot of fun, and I'll probably do it again. And then the other thing that I was planning to do, which I actually didn't do, which I'm kind of annoyed by this, is I was going to go boxing on Thursday, and I didn't end up doing it because two reasons. So one, wasn't feeling great, but two, the person I was going to go with ended up having other plans, so I might ask the person tomorrow if she's still going tomorrow, and if she is, I'll join her then. But yeah,
that shit's scary, bro. Like, I don't know
Boxing?
about you. Yeah, boxing, dude. I would be afraid of getting a concussion or something. Like,
Well, this is cardio boxing, so there's no sparring for this one. But
okay,
I'm gonna try it out, and then after that, I'll see if I want to try one of the other classes that they have.
Right.
Yeah, because I was looking at the website as well, and I wasn't certain on some of the things, so I need to ask them some questions once I actually get there.
We're getting ready for his YouTube boxing arc. Let's go.
Let's go.
That's gonna be so exciting.
Of course.
Albert, if you enter a boxing event, I will fly out to watch.
I'm ready for the Albert Thomas versus Jake Paul match right now.
Oh no,
Let's go.
he has like 5 years on me at this point, man.
I'm putting all my money on Jake Paul.
Yeah, I'm putting it all on Albert. Let's go. Let's go. There's
right,
no
Alex.
way my man loses.
I mean, you just said it yourself. He's got like 5 years on you, so I mean, you kind of just already admitted defeat.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah,
Anyway.
the mental determination is half the battle. If you already thought you lost,
well,
you already lost.
I haven't gone to a session yet, so of course I'd lose. Maybe in like 3 years, man. We'd see what happens, but
Like 2 to 3 sessions, I think you'll have it.
oh, 2 3 sessions. Yeah.
Yeah, message Jake Paul right now. Tell him I'll box you in 3 years from now and see what he says. DM him on like Twitter or something.
Oh, gotta document my entire training arc. You know.
Dude, that would be some sick YouTube content, bro. I'm just saying.
It would be.
There's something there. There's something there.
I mean, I would bring cameras to workouts, but like I don't want to have people stare at me with a camera.
Oh yeah.
Also, a lot of gyms don't allow it as well, which I honestly think that's better. I think it's better to not allow that stuff because it causes so many problems. And then a lot of the times people are just rude in like their videos. They'll like make fun of other people in the background or like cause drama and stuff like that.
It seems like it's kind of like, especially like really recently, it's kind of extremely toxic, all that gyms recording stuff.
Yeah.
Like in the past couple months or two.
Have you seen any of the Joey Swole videos?
Yeah, he's always popping up on my feed somewhere. People love his content. These are some, like, because people retweet it or I see people posting on Reddit. Like, I don't even actively follow him.
Yeah.
But I just always see his content getting posted everywhere else.
Yeah, Larkin, so just so you know, Joey Swole is this ginormous man. He's ginormous as in like he got all the gains, all right? He's like super swole, hence his name. But he's a super nice dude, at least from what we see in our TikToks or like little short form content.
Oh my god!
But what he does in his videos is essentially promote positive gym culture, where people aren't just like rude to people who are new or mess up.
That's cool.
Or,
that's cool.
And he calls out a lot of people, men and women, who are just like have videos where they're shaming or making fun of people at the gym. And he'll even like he'll do things where it's like sometimes a video where like a guy's being told that or being called out for being creepy, he'll either say like, oh, either I agree or disagree, and like either way he'll be like, all right, what's the correct method to do things.
Look at how wide this man is.
Yeah, dude, that man is giant. Yeah,
that's definitely like a custom made suit. You know, he's not fitting in anything else besides. Look at how wide that man is. I had to look at it so Larkin could see. He's a wide.
But I've been following that man on TikTok for like maybe a year, maybe more than that or something. And yeah, he's just a cool dude, man. I don't know anything beyond those little videos, but you know, those videos are fun. Yeah. I haven't seen him a lot recently because I only really use Instagram and YouTube, and I deleted TikTok for a long time, but I've been seeing him a few more times recently since I re-downloaded the app. Although I think I'm going to delete it again very soon because it's not a helpful app.
Probably worthwhile.
I mean, you can say that about any social media, to be fair, but
right.
True. Some more than others, but
yeah, some definitely more than others.
I mean, honestly, though, all social media just has the infinite scroll short form content now, so it's difficult for any of them on your phone.
Yeah.
It's because they want you to just stay. They want you to not put down your phone. That's how they make their money. So they make it like actively addicting.
Right, but I don't understand how a lot of these companies make money now because, well, I guess it's just data.
They sell your data. Yeah, they sell your data. Yeah.
Because I was gonna say you don't really see ads that much. Like YouTube.
Most of their money is coming from data collection.
Yeah, that makes sense. Anyway, Larkin, what are these spicy questions you've you've been talking
Oh,
about?
I was just thinking about, we've been talking for a while. I feel like we should investigate some of the more like interesting questions. You know what I mean?
I'm concerned.
Yeah, maybe it should be. I don't know. I don't know. I was thinking about it. You were like, no. I'm only kidding. I'm hyping this up for no reason. But like, I was just thinking like, what happened this past week. For example, this past week was the 1 year anniversary of the Ukraine invasion, right?
Was it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
No fucking idea, right? Yeah. So that was on Friday, I believe. Yesterday? I think that was yesterday.
The 24th.
Yeah, the 24th.
So
yeah,
on my cousin's birthday.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
It's been a year. Yeah, it's been a year since the start of that invasion. I feel like I don't know. We're 8 episodes deep. I feel like some of these things are like worth discussing. Like yeah. I don't know. I don't know where exactly I want to go with that. Just like I don't know. It's worth acknowledging. I don't know if you guys have been following the war at all.
I heard a few things like a long time ago now. It's been a while since I heard anything about it because it was more just like when things first kicked off. I heard a bit about it, but after a while, like I feel like news outlets a lot of the time, it's like what's happening right now or what they choose to focus on. So like, and also I don't really listen to the news.
Right.
I listen to very few world news things. So
Philip DeFranco.
Yeah, Philip DeFranco. So I think he mentioned I'm pretty sure he said something about the guy like a few months ago. But again, I'm not certain. It's been a long time. Yeah, I just don't actively follow a lot of things that are happening in the world. So
yeah, I mean, I don't follow too closely a lot of the news sources. I've started like trying to read some more news recently. But I think what really stands out to me about Ukraine in particular is that it's such like a one-sided affair, sort of like morally. Like there aren't like a lot of like modern events today where like more or less all of the U.S. is like very much on one side. Like
right.
Ukraine is in the right, Russia is in the wrong. And it's kind of interesting to see. Like, and obviously there's some nuance. It's like, how much money should we be giving them? Like, are there certain trade-offs? Should we negotiate with Russia? Like, etc. But, but in general, I guess it's refreshing to see like a situation where pretty much everyone unanimously agrees on one topic. Right? And that's that, Russia is the wrong, and they disagree to what level we should be involved. Should we be involved more militarily? Are sanctions sufficient, et cetera, et cetera? But yeah, I think it's one of those rare situations where we're sort of all on the same page.
Right.
It's just interesting in that way. Yeah.
I am curious because since you brought this up, I might as well ask you, what is the ultimate goal on the Russian front as to what they're actually after? Is it just to take over?
It's like basically try to like reform the Soviet Union. Like they want, they want basically like all those countries that broke off like in the 90s, like Ukraine and stuff. They basically want them back under their umbrella of power, basically.
Gotcha.
So like Putin's like messaging has kind of been unclear, but like basically what Alex said, like it's like he hasn't explicitly said that he wants to take back all these countries, but there have been many signs of him trying to do so. And they attempted to annex Crimea, like a peninsula off the east coast of Ukraine that was owned by Ukraine in 2014. And the world didn't really do anything about it. It was like appeasement, like let's not escalate because it's only a small portion of Ukraine and there's some Russian people, I guess, whatever. Wasn't worth it at the time. Recently, the Belarusian president, Belarus, the country directly north of Ukraine, and right next to Russia, there have been a lot of documents released showing this guy is basically a puppet of the Russian state at this point. He's getting paid by Russia. He's had a lot of meetings with Russia where he, sort of demonstrates his subservience or whatever, right? So you can see like Russia is slowly trying to expand its influence again. But the thing they keep saying the most, from Putin's point of view, is that he feels like basically he feels NATO is the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. He feels NATO is like a threat to their sovereignty, and so that
that is another part of it.
Yeah, every encroaching bordering country that comes closer to Russia, so countries that border Russia like Estonia and Latvia and Lithuania, like these countries that have a direct border with Russia, every time they join NATO, he feels like that's a threat on their like sovereignty and their defense. And so somehow they've managed to convince themselves that by invading Ukraine, that's sort of protecting them. I guess having more land between NATO and Moscow is good.
I think because Ukraine was considering joining NATO. I guess they just wanted to stop that by invading. I think
that would make some sense. Yeah, that would make some sense. Yeah.
Which anything, it's completely backfired because weren't Sweden and Finland joining NATO when they weren't going to before because Russia decided to invade. They're like, oh well, now we want the backup of the United States, so we'll join NATO.
Finland owns this huge northern border with Russia, and prior to the war, the percent of people in Finland who wanted to join NATO was like 28% or something. I don't remember what the exact number was, but it was very, very low. And now it's like an astounding 70%. They're concerned about Russia.
Right.
They're concerned about Russia doing to Finland what they're doing to Ukraine right now. Rightfully so.
It's completely backfired for him.
And it is completely backfired. Yes, it is absolutely completely backfired.
That makes sense.
And yeah. So it's just like I don't know. It's just for my perspective at least, it's interesting where we have a ton of news these days where it feels like anytime like I'll say one side like liberals or conservatives make a standing point, the other side has to fire back, not to look weak or whatever,
right,
just to have their own opinion. But like when Zelensky comes and visits Washington, like he gets a standing ovation from both sides, and there really isn't a situation in modern history that's been like that.
I'm curious too. Yeah. So are there, like, beyond that, are there any like resources or anything that Russia seems to be after in Ukraine, or is that just, it seems more purely about making sure that, say NATO doesn't
I think it's more so just like a power grab and preventing NATO from encroaching on their borders deal than more so for the resources. I feel like I haven't heard that as like a talking point of his, but
I would agree that, but see, Ukraine also has access to a lot of oil reserves, like a considerable amount of oil reserves, like relative to their size compared to Russia. So there's an oil incentive there, but they also have access to like warm water ports off of the Black Sea.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Russia kind of does too, and they also already had Crimea. Yeah, I agree. I think it's mostly mostly their motivation is to insulate themselves from NATO countries, to which for whatever reason they refuse to align. But yeah, there's like other strategic advantages. I mean, anytime you get more land, it's gonna be better. But yeah, Ukraine is like a rich in natural resources. Ukraine also exports a significant portion of wheat.
I was gonna say they're like one of the biggest wheat producers in the world, I think.
In the world, yeah, exactly. And it's been a big problem. There's been a lot of efforts between Ukraine, Russia, and the U.S. to, despite the war and despite contested ports, allow Ukrainian wheat shipments to leave the country and go to like nations like, for example, Sri Lanka, which has like a terrible starvation problem right now. Just as a humanitarian effort to alleviate some aid, and luckily Russia has been cooperative there. But yeah, I mean, it's a crazy time. Like, we haven't had like an invasion of this scale in like, I guess the U.S. kind of did it to Iraq. Yikes. But I guess in Europe we haven't had this since like World War II, right? So yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, 1 year anniversary of the invasion, just something to be aware of. I don't know how many more years this is going to go on for, but
didn't I think I heard or read somewhere earlier this week or last week that Russia was considering not continuing with the current rules of, I think, nuclear testing or whatever.
Yeah, that was like a week or two ago. They pulled out of whatever. It was like, what is the STARS treaty? I think that was what it was, like something like that. Stars or something like that. But yeah, it's basically the nuclear deal between the United States and Russia, not to make an obscene amount of nukes. Because obviously that would be bad.
I think the specifics. Sorry to cut you off. I think the specifics of what they said was they would continue to follow the guidelines or whatever, but they would specifically be refusing people to verify what they were doing. Which is
that's specifically what I was. That's what I was gonna say. Is that because they apparently they had not been following it for a while because they've not been allowing. Because the whole part of the treaty was that Russia would send Russian people to look at our stuff, and then we would send American people to look at their stuff to make sure each side is respecting the side of the treaty.
Mm-hmm.
And for I guess probably since they invaded Ukraine the past year or so, Russia is not allowed any Americans to come look at what they're doing.
Right.
So they had broken the treaty already, but now they officially came and said it. And even though they say, oh, we'll still follow the treaty, we just don't want Americans looking at what we're doing, which is okay. Are you really going to be following you can say you're following the treaty, but if there's no one there to verify that you're following the treaty, do we know you're actually following it, or you're not just making a ridiculous amount of nukes?
Right.
All right. So.
Yeah, and I do think that there was another thing where it was they would potentially be willing to continue nuclear testing again, actual.
Yeah, I think they were going to start up nuclear testing, and I think they did say that.
Yeah. Yeah, which is just problematic. I don't know. I don't actually know what the bounds of what we've studied for the impacts of just blowing up a nuke somewhere for testing purposes or whatever. I'm sure it has widespread impacts because there were. I remember reading an article. I think for what's it called? What are those exams that we had to take in middle school and high school?
The
Regents?
Yeah, I think it was one of those where they had a sample reading where it was oh yeah, this is the impact of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, what it's impacted on the people living there, in terms of physical ailments and things like that have been a cause to those nuclear weapons. And so I am curious as to are there any safeguards in place for when they do that type of testing to prevent that now? Or is it just we found a deserted area that no one's going to really be thinking about all that much, and that's where we're going to blow up a nuke? I don't know.
It's just, I don't know if they've thought about that, because nuclear testing has just not really happened for an insanely long time, on that scale.
Yeah.
That's a good question. When was the last time someone detonated a nuclear weapon, just as a test,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't even think of it.
90s,
recently. Yeah,
I feel like we would have heard about it. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, because I do think, I don't remember if this is how accurate this is, but I remember hearing maybe a few years ago that there was potential testing either in India or Pakistan that was picked up by sensors, because we have sensors for the planet that are figuring out if there are earthquakes going on, right? And stuff like that.
Shit.
And so I believe it was that type of technology that's also capable of picking up those types
seismic readers.
Yes. And the technology is used around the world, so we're able to pick up stuff that happens on the planet, right? So I think I read somewhere or heard somewhere years ago that they had found that, and something was happening there or whatever.
And they thought someone set one off underground or underwater or something.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
If someone actually knows what I'm talking about, let me know in the comments.
I'm not sure. I don't think I didn't hear that. Yeah, but it makes sense. I just never heard of it.
Yeah, it was a long time ago though. So I think it was either maybe in high school or in college. Something.
Oh, okay. So
it was a while ago. You might not remember it.
That makes sense though, because India and Pakistan have been in each other's throats for
I was gonna say that
the border has existed. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they're always disputing the border. They've always been in each other's throats for a while, so it makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is an interesting concept because I have no. Well, maybe I haven't done enough research, but at least from what I understand, I don't really have an issue with nuclear power, but I don't like the idea of rearming further of more sophisticated nuclear missiles and stuff like that. It's what is the point? We already have a shit that can blow up the entire world. Why do we need more sophisticated versions of the same thing? It's an explosion. Okay. What are you going to use it for?
Mutually assured. The only thing that's nukes are good for is mutually assured destruction. If someone's firing nukes, you get again nukes back. Like,
yo, I gotta
just
get
mutually
out of New
assured
York
destruction,
City, bro. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, man, I live in
Like,
Washington. I'm good.
Yo,
Washington
nobody's.
No one cares. All right, we just got our national parks. All right, we're just on hikes, man. No one really cares about what we're doing.
If they're nuking Olympia, like it was over anyway, you know.
I feel like that's one of the end goals. You know, you nuke Olympia at the end. All right, not now.
Yeah. It's the finale.
I mean, if anything, look, we're close enough that if they like drop the bomb on Manhattan, we won't even feel anything. We'll just be vaporized instantly. So.
Dude, that's why we're like, okay, imagine they pop a bomb in Manhattan. I'm like kind of like on the edge of Queens, right? So like maybe I won't
be vaporized instantly.
Would I get instantly vaporized? But what if it was like a small nuke, bro? Like this is Russia. They're like small potatoes. You know what I mean? Like
I don't know. Yeah, you have to look at. Isn't there like that? I remember, wasn't there like a website you could see what like the
radiation blast
from like a nuke?
That's
the radiation blast.
What if they drop a small nuke and then like I slowly get toasted over the course of like 3 days? That would be horrible.
Well, that would be awful. I would hope that they drop a big enough nuke that I get vaporized instantly, because I don't want to do that.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I think at the bare minimum, there would be a sound wave that destroys all of your windows and stuff, and so you could probably get a lot of people would probably get injured immediately still, and then you'd also get radiation sickness,
radiation poisoning.
Yeah. So it's not going to be fun, honestly. Preferable to get vaporized instantly as opposed to dying over several days. That's what I'm saying.
You know? True. Thank God. Holy shit.
Like, I don't want the radiation like burning at my skin and me dying over the course of 3 days. Just like, what is that bright flash of light? And, I just get vaporized instantly, and I don't have to think about it anymore. I just turn to dust.
It was a good point you made, Albert, about the nuclear power plants, though. Because I think it's almost poetic that like potentially one of the best sources of power we'll have in like the coming century, it comes from the exact same source that creates like the most destructive technology we've ever created.
Well, what I also find interesting is a lot of activists and stuff will close down those plants, but like a lot of plants, I believe, I think there used to be one in New York. I don't know if it's still there.
Nope. Nope. Close it down.
I remember hearing about that, and I mean, the ultimate result of that is increased prices for everyone for energy. And it's like, I understand if you're going to make the claim that there's like an environmental hazard, a potential danger or whatever.
No, nuclear energy is extremely clean.
Right. Which is why, well, the thing is, like, if something goes wrong, sure, you could have a meltdown, and that's understandable, right? Maybe people don't want to live right next to it, but the trade-off there is like it's cleaner energy, right? So long as nothing goes wrong, right, you'll be fine. But like your livelihood, it'll be cheaper for you, right? So it's actually more benefit, I guess, there. So that's what I dislike about like the shutting down of those plants, right? Because it's like on a, let's say, a blue collar level, right, it's only helpful. It's helpful to most people.
Because people, it's probably like, a lot of like oil and coal companies lobby for it not to happen because capitalism controls everything. And then, even like the general populace gets fear-mongered and like, oh, you next to your nuclear power plant, it's just going to be the next Chernobyl. Right. Even though Chernobyl was like, it was more at the fault of the people than the actual systems they had in place. You'll just decide to ignore the warnings or whatever. And then it, led to the disastrous meltdown. But like, they have, especially, ever since Chernobyl, I'm sure, if anything, the systems have gotten way better at detecting when something's about to go wrong. So like, it's definitely a lot of like fear mongering stuff. People are like, it's gonna be the next Chernobyl or like
I mean,
stuff like that. But
you guys remember Fukushima, right?
Yeah, I was gonna mention that too.
Yeah, in like 2011, maybe.
That's 2011. Yeah.
It's 2011. Yeah. I mean,
I was gonna mention that, but that's like a completely different scenario. Though. I mean, they literally got hit by like an earthquake, tsunami, and that's what completely like destroyed the plant. I feel like that's more different situation than like Chernobyl, where that was just completely human error.
True. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't have to necessarily be human error per se, right? Like, there could be a serious like a serious natural disaster, or like an enemy state, or like a terrorist attack, right? I don't know. I don't know.
But there's no defending
Yeah.
against those things regardless, right? Those things would happen either way. So I mean, I guess the fallout, right? If you attack or the destruction of those plants, like the fallout would be much higher versus if it wasn't there. But
wasn't that a whole thing they were just worrying about? In speaking of Russia, Ukraine, wasn't that the whole thing? Was that they were getting the fighting was getting dangerous close to like some huge nuclear power plant in like Ukraine, and that they were worried it was going to be like another Chernobyl, but I think the Russian forces decided to not let that happen. They actually backed off of attacking the plant from what this was a while ago. This is not like a super recent, but I do remember hearing about that.
I forget what the name of the plant was, but
yeah, but you know what I'm talking about, right, Lockhart?
I forget what the name of the town was with the power plant, but yeah, like I think it's the largest nuclear power plant in Europe.
Really, I didn't know that.
Became controlled by the Russians, and the Russians were making it difficult for like the Ukrainian workers who were basically working like kind of as like I don't know, prisoners, as slaves. I don't know. I don't think they were being compensated, right? They were just there maintaining the power plant, and like security procedures were being blown through, and I mean, we were probably very close to a nuclear accident. I mean, me not knowing anything about like nuclear security, but at least that's what the news would like wanted us to.
That's what the news wanted you to think. Yeah.
Exactly. I don't know how dire it really was, but yeah. I don't know. Like, I'm generally with you, especially not nuclear fission, but nuclear fusion. If that, like, I don't know. Did you guys hear about the nuclear?
Didn't they successfully do it like last year or whatever?
There was like a nuclear fusion test.
It was like more recent than that. It was like in the past month, I think.
Like a couple months ago. Yeah.
Maybe it was a couple months ago. Yeah, it was recent.
There was like a nuclear fusion test, and like I forget what the number was. They put in an insane amount of energy, but but I think the critical thing was they were able to get some out. Is that what the critical thing was?
Yeah.
They weren't weren't net positive. I know that's for sure. They were not net positive because they pumped an insane amount of energy into the reaction. But I think this was like the first time they were able to get out energy.
Yeah, so something.
Yeah.
That technology still a ways off if you're hoping for nuclear fusion plants and not nuclear fission plants.
Yeah.
Is the idea that fusion plant would be less dangerous, or is it more energy? I think
it is less dangerous and more energy. Yeah, I think it's both of those. I think
definitely. Yeah, it's way more energy.
Definitely more energy.
You can do it with like water. Right, like you can fuse hydrogen and oxygen together, and in theory, like the magic chemistry numbers work out, and you get an insane amount of energy.
Right.
Because the energy is released through the stability of the bonds. But yeah, I don't know how that shit works. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just I just read a fucking like popular science article on it, bro. Like I don't know. I have no idea. It might be more dangerous, and actually, because considering the amount of energy you can get, I don't know.
I don't know.
It'd be more dangerous. Not sure.
It's interesting though, because if you can do that, right? I think obviously the biggest questions there are like what safeguards, what are the dangers, like what are the things that have to be done to make sure it's relatively safe. But then from there, it's like how do you convince the populace to accept that, right?
Right.
And I think the biggest thing on the population level to express is the immediate benefits, right? Which honestly, on that level, it's the amount of money you'd save, right?
Right. It's mind blowing. Yeah.
And I do think that it's also this is also why I'm like I kind of wish that there wasn't people trying to close those types of plants, because we're currently living through a time in which we're surrounded by inflation and things like that. So it's like very difficult to be able to save your livelihood right now, especially if you're in a lower income bracket. So I feel like anything could help, and reducing the cost of energy would be one of those things.
I mean, nuclear fusion is like almost in a sense like the most fundamental source of energy we could create, kind of. Because like nuclear fusion energy is the energy that the sun is giving off,
right?
Like that's what's happening in the sun. The sun is fusing, ions in the hydrogen, and then hydrogen into denser metals all the way up to like lead, right? And and it's that release of energy, that stabilization, that's creating all the energy in the sun, that's heating the planet, that heat, you know, turns into energy on Earth. Like nuclear fusion is like the source of energy we have in the solar system, if not in the universe.
Right.
And so like, you know, like the ability to harness that, I mean, it could unlock so much potential, especially in a mobile capacity. Like imagine like we can also already build like nuclear submarines which use nuclear fission and can stay underwater for months. They can even do like what is it called when they filter oxygen from water? You know what I'm talking about? Dialysis or something? Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it's called. I know what you're talking about, but I don't know what
But
it's
you know,
called.
they have these machines
Is
that
dialysis when you put oxygen into your blood?
Wait,
though?
I think that's
So it might be the
All right.
opposite.
Never mind. Anyway, it's definitely not dialysis. Yeah, wait, that's fucking medical thing. Anyway, I forgot what it's
I mean,
called.
it could be similar terminology for water too, but it would be the reverse of that, I guess, right?
It
Because
could
you would
be,
be
yeah,
pulling
yeah.
oxygen from water.
Yeah, it could be. That's possible.
Yeah.
But yeah. In either case, like, these machines basically like these nuclear power plants or these nuclear submarines run underwater with a mini nuclear power plant.
Mm-hmm.
They can get oxygen from the water around them. The only limiting factor is like food, right? You know, like that self-sustainability could easily be translated to like, I don't know, like a spaceship or something. You know, go to Mars, suddenly you have nearly unlimited energy because you're just engaging in nuclear fusion with like the rocks around you on the surface of the planet. I mean, there's just like a remarkable amount of like potential there. Yeah, I don't know. It's a very exciting time to be alive, boys. I would say. Yeah.
I am curious about. So if you have a fusion plant, right, and say what you were saying, like where you're creating water, right? Is that water considered irradiated, or is it like normal water?
Oh, I think it's electrolysis. Is that what the term is? I gotta look this up now. No, it's well, okay, no. Just to clarify, so, yeah, they're getting water from the ocean, but the critical thing is to also get oxygen from the ocean by splitting apart the water molecules into their hydrogen oxygen components.
Oh no, I mean for if you're looking at a fusion plant, right, where you're taking hydrogen and oxygen, fusing it together to create H2O, right?
Yeah.
Is that like normal water, or is it irradiated in some way? Like, is that? Do you know?
I have no idea, to be honest. But I mean, I don't know. Like, maybe some radiation could be given off as like a byproduct of the reaction. I don't know, man. I'm no.
Yeah, no worries. I was just curious because
yeah.
I mean, that's an interesting idea where it's like you're creating new types of matter, I guess. Like you're changing the matter to well, I guess technically that's like alchemy, pretty much.
Okay, yes, it is electrolysis. The process of using electricity to split water into hydrogen and oxygen. There we go. Yeah.
No, I was trying to look it up too. I did not even find that as an answer, but there you go.
Honestly, that's an interesting idea. Basically, we've learned to become alchemists.
We're kind of creating like something out of nothing. Kind of. Yeah.
Well, not really out of nothing, but it's like the consensus or the idea of creating gold from lead or something like that. But like in this respect, you're turning one thing to another, which is oxygen, hydrogen into water, right? A very interesting concept considering like centuries ago that would have been like
actual
horrifying.
Magic.
Yeah, that would have been magic, but obviously it doesn't look the same. Or maybe in another 10,000 years, we just have it in the palm of our hands, and we'd basically just be wizards.
Right. The power of the sun in the palm of our hand.
Yeah, I was thinking that earlier. I was like, oh yeah, this is.
I mean, right? Like that could be the future, though. Yeah.
And then I get Doc Ock arms, and I try to grab the sun in the palm of my hand, and then the arms take control of my mind, and then a guy who was bitten by a radioactive spider has to try and stop me.
Of course. We're talking about the second Spider-Man movie. Yeah.
Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, guys. Could be sick. Could be really cool stuff.
It's really cool because, isn't Oh, I'm blanking. Well, Alex, when I was younger, I didn't know tritium was a real thing in the world. I forget what it's actually used for, but it's an actual type of molecule or whatever. I forget what its purpose is, but I think it's like vaguely related to what it's like its use in the film or whatever, which
movie.
Is, yeah. I believe it's also still a very rare element or not element molecule or whatever. I forget what it's called or what it's used for, but I can actually look it up to
at least they needed it to some degree, unlike in Avatar, not the Last Airbender, the James Cameron one, when they called it they were looking for unobtainium.
Oh,
that always found that funny.
Lame.
Like it's the whole reason they were there attacking the Na'vi is because the humans were looking for unobtainium.
Like all this money, going into this film, and they couldn't make anything like slightly cooler than unobtainium. Like,
okay, so tritium is used to fuel nuclear fusion reactions. So that's what it's for. Oh, okay, that's interesting because like in the film, it's used to create a renewable energy resource where it's like essentially the creation of a sun within this chamber, right? That's the exact idea of the story. So I assume that there were talks about what a fusion...
nuclear fusion because that's what the sun
does. Yeah, so there were probably talks at the time of what a fusion reactor would actually result in and stuff like that. So that's probably part of the inspiration behind Sam Raimi's vision for that movie. Very interesting. I didn't expect that because I honestly, when I heard tritium as a kid and when I was growing up, I was like, oh, it's like vibranium or adamantium or any of the other made up substances.
Unobtainium.
Yeah, or unobtainium. Any of the made up stuff from like film and TV and all of that.
Interesting.
So to find out that that's an actual real thing is pretty crazy, especially because it's also related to fusion reactions.
Right. Yeah. I'm just reading this. Like it's a isotope of hydrogen with 1 proton, 2 neutrons. Which, I mean, I don't remember much from chemistry, but I feel like usually you want to have a similar number of protons and neutrons just to like separate out. I don't know, bro. I don't know. That seems crazy.
I think normally you have the same number of protons to neutrons, and then if you have more, I think the amount of electrons decides whether or not it's an isotope, right?
We're talking chemistry now.
Yeah, wait. I haven't
done that since high school, bro. I have no idea.
Dude, me neither. Actually, I did take chemistry in.
I didn't take any. I didn't have to because it's my computer science degree. Since they were like, chemistry's hard. Computer science is hard enough. You don't need to take chemistry. I just want to take two semesters of high school earth science again. Yeah, it was the two easiest classes of my life. I even took them backwards. I took like Earth Science 102, and then in the semester after, I took 101. I even did them backwards.
Dude, yeah, we had to take. I ended up taking a semester of chemistry, so I didn't have to take 2 semesters of like physics or bio. But whatever.
2 semesters of physics was fun, man. Like last year, physics was cool as opposed to having to take chemistry. Oh my God. I would not have wanted to. I would not have wanted to take chem. AP. Yeah. That was not fun.
It was
I struggled with honors. So I was like, I'm not gonna go into AP for no reason, man.
Dude, AP Chem was fucking. It was tough, but actually, I will give it to him. Like the AP Chem course was legit. Because in college, like the college chemistry course I took was, I would say, easier than the AP Chem course. Yeah. So I don't know. There's something to that. But yeah. Isotopes have. I thought isotopes were where they had multiple neutrons, right?
Let's just look it up. Let's look it up right now. I already had that up. I already had Google pulled up because I was looking up the unobtainium, and apparently it actually is an actual term that they use in engineering. They actually do use unobtainium as a term. But
what is?
So I guess the movie was.
Wait. What is unobtainium?
Since the late 1950s, aerospace engineers have used the term unobtainium when referring to unusual or costly materials, or when theoretically considering a material perfect for their needs in all respects, except that it does not exist. It does not exist.
That's really.
So basically, they just used it to describe.
It's a real thing to describe something that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
An avatar actually is a real thing.
There's something there. Okay.
Isotopes are distinct. You know, give me can I get this Wikipedia article in simple English? How do I do that again? I was gonna read the page on isotopes, but I was like, I'm not gonna understand it. I need like the simple English Wikipedia again, please.
They have the same atomic number, but differ in nucleon numbers due to differences in the number of neutrons in the nuclei. Yeah. Number of neutrons, number of neutrons. Yeah, there we go.
Wait, no, so what is it
number
that...
of electrons?
Wait. So yeah. There's another thing for a different number of electrons because it's when you have the plus or minus next to the name.
Yep.
And that's also what causes the flow of electricity and stuff like that for for engineering, for electrical engineering. So there's another word for that.
Ion. It's an ion.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Okay.
All like the chemistry majors watching this podcast, like every chemistry major is losing their shit right now because we can't remember like basic high school, chemistry.
We're exposing ourselves.
My chemistry class was lit in high school. We barely did any. We barely ever did chemistry. We wound up watching Brain Games. Have you ever heard of that show? We wound up watching Brain Games like every day, which is it's like a show about like brain teasers. I don't know what it has to do with chemistry. It was like some National Geographic show or something. But we watched it. And then one day, this is when the dress was popular. Remember the dress? Like what color is the dress?
The blue gold dress.
We spent literally one whole class just talking about the dress. That was our chemistry class for today. We're talking about. So I did not learn any chemistry that year. I do not know. Shout out to homie Mr. C for not making me have to learn any chemistry.
I think we made ice cream once, right? I think so.
Ice cream? That sounds familiar.
We made ice cream.
Oh, in your chemistry class?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
We definitely made ice cream that year. Yeah, because it was one of our labs. Which I thought that was like the best part the entire year for me.
That's cool.
The entire chemistry class was making ice cream?
Yeah. I didn't learn anything apart from I now have ice cream, but that's all good.
Right.
I didn't learn anything either besides watching Brain Games and discussing what color the dress was. Well,
goddamn.
Yeah, high school was definitely interesting. I remember it was like senior year. This was a Catholic high school, by the way, for just context.
Shit.
We spent one whole class discussing whether one of my whole English classes discussing a whole class whether or not if one of my classmates was Jewish or not.
What?
Because his I think his mom his mom was like Israeli or something.
Oh, okay.
Us?
So he was like adamant that he was like not Jewish, and we were like, "You're definitely Jewish." I don't know where he got that idea from. Like I remember we spent a whole class like not like Jewish as a religion, because Jewish means like it could be like Jewish as a religion or Jewish as like as a race.
Okay. Yeah.
And we're saying, no, you're not Jewish in the sense that you practice Judaism. You're Jewish in the sense that you have like Israeli heritage. But he was not getting it, and we spent a whole English class discussing that. So, high school was definitely an interesting time. I did not learn anything.
Oh my god.
The fact that Stony Brook accepted me was a miracle. What?
Oh my god.
Yeah, good old high school, man.
Absolutely good times. Kind of. Sort of, maybe.
I'd say mostly good times, apart from school. The school part.
It was good, except for the part where I had to deal with the awful administration running my school. Where like they would claim that they fixed the heat, and then they didn't, and everybody would be freezing. Or the times when they claimed that they fixed the air conditioning, and then they didn't, and everybody was dying, and they just wouldn't let us wear a summer uniform because the summer uniform was only for like 4 weeks of the entire year, apparently. So like it could be like like late April, and it could be like mad hot in the school because the AC doesn't work, but I still have to wear a sweater and a tie and a button-down shirt because they like us dying, I guess.
Bro, that's tough.
I definitely got dehydrated once. Well, I remember one day I came home literally like with the worst migraine of all time, probably from sweating all day. I was probably extremely dehydrated. That was not a great day. That was like the worst headache I've ever had. I was literally just laying on the floor for the bathroom for like an hour, just doing absolutely nothing.
I fainted twice, I think, before I ended high school. Yeah.
Really?
I think it was like either junior.
Well, I never got that bad.
I think it was junior year. Yeah. I think so. One time I fainted in health class, but that was because I didn't eat breakfast, and it was 3 hours later, and I was in health class, and they were I forget what they were talking about, I think they were talking about like different drugs and stuff. But like the next thing I knew, I was on the floor. I was like,
My
"What the hell
God.
happened?" And then
God.
I had to eat
Yeah.
my lunch.
Breakfast is important. You gotta eat breakfast. I did always make sure to do that. At least eat breakfast.
Well, I was trying to sleep. Well, I wasn't actually trying to sleep. I was trying to not sleep, I guess. I don't know. I wasn't sleeping a lot.
You were trying not to sleep, and as a result, you fainted instead.
Well, as a result, I would wake up so late that I would just have to put on my clothes and go to school. So like I wouldn't have time.
Right.
And then I wouldn't eat breakfast because of that, and then I'd be starving. And then I'd eat my food.
Oh, see, I just had set an alarm. I just thought we're getting like 4 hours of sleep every night and just being tired for my entire high school existence.
Terrible. Terrible.
I made sure to eat breakfast. So I was I was just exhausted my entire high school existence with getting like 6 to 4 hours of sleep every night. So
the other time I was also partially because I didn't eat breakfast. I was doing one of the marches, I think for like, I forget which holiday we did marches for in band or whatever, for marching band. But like we were marching for like, I forget where we started. It was like by Four Corners or something. It was like by one of the schools. I don't remember, man. It was like very far. And then we were...
You just fainted during the middle of the march?
Yeah. Well, no, not in the middle of the march. We walked all the way over Larkin to where DeChico's is. So it was like a long walk, right? And I was already really tired, really hungry. And it was like 100 degrees out. So like
That's dangerous.
Yeah.
That is dangerous.
Yeah, it was really bad. But like a lot of people were already exhausted, tired, dehydrated anyway.
Right.
But I also hadn't eaten anything that day, and it was it was like midday at this point. This was rough though, because it was like we're all sitting down after the march, and we're just stuck there because there's some speeches going on. I think this was Veterans Day or something like that, and there were speeches going on, and I was just sitting there like, I'm about to pass out. What the heck? So I stand up and then knock over my drumsticks while this person's talking, and I'm like pretty close to where he is, and then I'm just like looking about and being like, shit, I made a sound. And then I walked over to my band teacher and was like, I'm about to pass out. I'm going to go inside and like get some water or something. And he was like, okay, cool. And then as soon as I walked in to DeChico's, which is like a grocery store, the cold air from the air conditioner hit me immediately, and I almost fainted right there. From that sudden change in temperature. And then I saw a person that was working there, and it was like, bro, I'm about to faint. And then I almost like fall into like an aisle or like a wall or something, and then the guy helps me, brings me to like a restroom, whatever, and then I just kind of sit on the floor, and I'm just like, I need a minute.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then my parents found me after a while. Like, I think I called them or something, and was like, I'm in Chico's on the floor because I was about to pass out and faint. And so my parents found me, and then I think I went home. I think by the time I got out, though, like the speeches had ended, and everyone was like starting to disperse, and apparently they had given out water after I left to people, and I was like, what the heck? Where's my water? I wanted water.
So the whole marching band was sitting there for the speeches, and then they dispersed, and nobody thought to look for you?
Well, they didn't all like leave yet. People, like, the speeches were over, people were starting to disperse. Like, a lot of people had left or whatever. But
like, I feel like I would be the teacher to be like, the event is over, and Albert said he was going inside and has not come back yet. Maybe I should look for him.
Hey, man, I didn't like that band teacher anyway. Okay, I didn't expect much from him. He I forget, was he there for 2 years? I don't know. There was like a scandal with him too. Bro, our school has so many problems.
I didn't hear about this, bro.
I went through 3 principals in my 4 years of being there. 3 different principals.
We had three band teachers out of 4 years, because our like 50-year band instructor retired in the 8th grade. So over the high school years, we had 3 band instructors in those 4 years.
Your school was all the way from like 1st to 12th?
What was that?
Your school was all the way from like 1st to 12th? Did you go to like a separate school for high school?
No, I did. 8th grade. So our band instructor for middle school and high school was the same because our middle school and high school are connected. So we just have one band room. So one band teacher for all of them. Yeah, but he had been there for 50 years and he retired. So 9th grade, my 5th grade band instructor came up and taught us. He was way too angry, man. I don't know what his problem was. He yelled a lot, and no one felt like listening to him. I think everyone was just like, "You're not Mr. Whitford, so we're not going to listen to you," or something like that. I don't know exactly what it was, but that's what it felt like. He just could not handle it, I guess. And then the year after, it was like a new band teacher who just moved to town and all of that. And this is the guy that I was just talking about from my previous story. Did not like him one bit. I don't know why. I think the biggest thing was he started to make us percussionists learn like the bells instruments, like the mallet instruments and stuff. And I was like, I don't want to learn that. Why don't you teach us rudiments? And he was like, no, I'm not going to teach you rudiments. I'm like, but that's the basics of drums. Why are you dumb? So I did not like that, man. Yeah, so it was not fun hanging out with him. But at the end of, I think, our first year, he would give like, I think different honors or whatever to like different people that were in the band or whatever. Be like, oh, this person's very good or whatever. I forget what they were actually called. But like, apparently this kid has been blackmailing this teacher for like years. Not for years, for the entire year. Because he like went on his Facebook or something and found a video of him like, I don't know, smoking weed or some shit, with like his old bandmates or whatever. He found like a video and was like essentially blackmailing this dude. And we all found out at the end of the year, because we were all just like, that dude that was given this like, I forget what it was called. Man, I forget what this was called. It was like, I don't know if it was an award or something or other, but we were all just like, this dude sucks. Everyone hates him. He's just a butt wipe. Like, no one liked this kid because he was so anal about everything. And anyway.
Wait, the kid or the teacher?
The kid. No one liked the kid. So
Do
it
I
wasn't
know this guy?
I don't remember his name, man. He was. He played like.
Wait, what did this have to do with the teacher?
Oh, he was like blackmailing the teacher. Yeah, isn't that what I said?
with the weed, right?
It was like
I was looking up the thing about my 3 principles in 4 years. So I wasn't listening for like a second. I forgot the reason, but
no, yeah, he was blackmailing him. I think it was something to do with drugs or whatever. I don't know, but it was like from when he was in college or something.
Oh my god!
And so
that's insane.
We all thought he was gonna get fired at the end of that year because we all found out like at the last week of school or something what was going on. And then he was there somehow the following year for like another year. Wow. And he was just like not having it that second year. It was kind of rough looking for him. And
then you got another teacher the year after?
Yeah,
that's how you got to 3?
And then another teacher showed up at the end of that year. So, yeah, that's how we got to 3. The third guy was pretty cool, but like I was already checked out. I was like, I'm a senior.
Yeah. In my 4 years in high school, I had 2 band teachers.
Yeah.
I had one for freshman and sophomore year, and then my junior year, they like got basically the whole performing arts department was like all new people. My junior year, I guess they all retired or resigned or whatever. So then I had different people for junior and senior year for band, which I like my second guy later. Shout out to Mr. Diaz. I liked him a lot. I didn't really care for my first one too much, but I liked Mr. Diaz. He was cool.
Nice. Yeah. The last band teacher that I had, he was cool. Never learned his name though.
What was he? What'd you have him just for a part of your senior year?
No, I had him my entire senior year. I just don't remember his name.
Oh. Because when you said he came in at the end, I figured you meant that he came in the end of.
He came after junior year. So I think one day junior year he had like a practice session with the class.
Okay. So he came in like at the tail end of junior year.
No, he didn't actually start. So the end of junior year or whatever, they had a couple of different band instructors come in to like test out what they are like in the class and stuff like that. And at the end of that, he was chosen. So he started my senior year though.
I see now.
Teacher.
Okay.
Yeah. But the other guy was there for a full 2 years. Yeah. But he was cool. again, I wanted to learn rudiments. He was like, bells, man, learn some scales. I'm like, I don't want to though. Why are you doing this to me? And also, like, when you start without having sectionals and then have to start doing sectionals, you're just like, why is this happening to me? Yeah. So not fun.
That's crazy. You had a teacher for an entire year and then did not learn his name.
I think it started with a B or something. I could be wrong though. I saw him again a year later when I was visiting school, and I was like, yo, don't remember your name, but yo, hello.
Yo, what's
How
up,
you doing?
teach?
How you doing? And he recognized me too, which honestly I was kind of shocked because understandably so, because like he paid more attention to people who weren't leaving that year, right? Which makes sense. Which makes perfect sense. I don't disagree with that philosophy, but yeah.
You just left that much of an impression on him.
He just remembered.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You just had it for it, Albert. You're a very special man.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh my God.
You're very welcome.
You got any interesting high school stories?
Interesting high school stories, bro. What the fuck, dude? I was such a sweaty piece of shit in high school. Nah, man, I don't know. High school was very mundane for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had 3 principals. I guess since I looked up, I might as well mention about how I now remember why I had 3 principals in 4 years. So I had one principal freshman and sophomore year. And then he resigned in my sophomore year because I remembered it having to do with something with the school finances.
Mm-hmm.
But after re-looking at these articles, it turns out the only reason that the archdiocese did an audit of the school's finances is because there was a bunch of resignations in the like the physical education department, because apparently they were having affairs with the students.
Oh, let's go. Huge.
But that part I did not remember. So yeah, the principal resigned my sophomore year.
Honestly,
and then we had an interim guy
Catholic
junior year.
school.
Yeah, right. The Catholics aren't diddling little children. What are they doing?
Holy
You know,
shit, true, bro.
Yeah, then we had an interim guy junior year, and everybody called him Hitler because he looked exactly like Hitler. Like no,
Dude,
he
this school is fucked.
Wait,
bro.
did he have a Charlie
like
Chaplin mustache?
Yeah, he did. He did. Like I remember, like it was like the end of my sophomore year when he was like, I guess like getting shown the ropes or whatever, like before the other guy left. Like the last couple months, nobody knew who he was. Everybody just saw this guy walking around the halls. And everybody was like whispering to each other, like, why is Adolf Hitler like walking the halls of our school? And it turned out next year that he was our principal, and everybody was like, oh shit. And I was like, oh shit! You know, he had the Charlie Chaplin stash and everything.
Yeah.
That's why everyone called him. And then, you know, he had like, you know, the hair like brushed to the side.
Oh,
and I was like,
no,
just
dude,
straight up, I was like,
no, man.
this guy just straight up looks like Hitler.
Like that, like look, that style is gonna be like taboo for like 200 years.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
of course.
Like
Yeah.
it's just completely gone. Like you just
And
can't.
so he was
ignore
only
it.
there for a year because he was an interim principal, and then we got I think the principal that they still have came in my senior year, and she's an idiot. I don't like her.
Damn.
She's she is like you know like those verbose memes where it's like they like take a sentence and they like make it like 30 words longer than it has to be. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Do you know like those kinds of memes? You know what I'm talking about, right? Or like
they add a bunch of like whilst and shit in there or something.
Do you mean
like,
people just keep talking when they
like
don't
that.
have to? Like they make
basically,
something too long?
she's kind of like that. Yeah, like
Okay.
the way she just talks drove me insane. Like I remember one day, I was like after school, like I had some after school club or something that day, and I was waiting for Mom to pick me up, and it was raining, so I was standing up there with an umbrella, and I'm like my back is to like the front door to school because I'm like looking at the street waiting for Mom to get me. So I just, you know, I'm standing there, and I hear somebody walk up behind me and goes, "Is it precipitating out?" I'm like, I'm like, what? I'm like, who said that? And then I turned around, I was like, it's the principal, and I was like, yeah, raining. Like, why have to say is it raining out? Who says is it precipitating out?
Only somebody wants to sound like a pretentious piece of shit.
She like exactly. That's what she definitely gave me the vibe that she wants to be a pretentious piece of shit.
Man.
Like I remember one day too, since it was like obviously it's a Catholic school, we wound up going to like church a lot, but nobody gave a fuck about church, right? Like, so you know, everybody was just talking and everything, and then she got pissed. And then, you know, she made the whole school up to write a paper about like why God is important or something, and we had to give it to our religion teacher by tomorrow. But the way she said it, she was like, "You guys need to write a paper and submit it to your theology professor by the close of business tomorrow." And I was like, why not just say hand it to your religion teacher by tomorrow? Like, why do you got to say your theology professor by the close of business tomorrow? Like, that always stick out to me.
Did you call your teachers?
She's always...
Sorry, did you call your teachers professors? And
no. Everybody was so confused. Everybody's like, theology? Did she mean our religion teacher?
Is she like really British or something? Like,
no, she's just an idiot. I hated her. I did not like her at all. Hey man, she does not get a shout out.
Particular set of skills to become a principal.
True. Yeah, I wonder,
like being a pretentious asshole.
Like being like a teacher, just being like an academic environment, like kind of like gets to your head, and you suddenly try to be like this, like perfect image to like, I don't know, represent some sort of like school ideal, you know, like you want to make it. You want to appear to the kids like you, like every decision you make is perfection. Like how you act is like the model sort of.
Okay,
like,
but you don't have to say is it precipitating out when it's clearly raining.
Well, of course not. Okay, clearly there's something is maladjusted there, right? Like so something is wrong there. Like I don't know why like you would phrase it that way, right? Except
I never
like
understood.
the only explanation that comes to mind is like
you want to sound smart.
you were trying to sound smarter than the kids to like either like be like a role model somehow, or
but it's not like it's like middle school where I'd be like, wow, she's so smart. I was a senior in high school. I was just looking at like what a pretentious asshole. Like,
exactly.
It's not like it's middle school. But I'm like, wow, she said such a big word. She's so smart. I'm just be like, just say it's raining.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
my god.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I think like the power gets to some people's heads, you know? Like,
yeah, probably.
Like they think they're so far above all these students because most of the people they're surrounded with on the day-to-day like have to look up to them because that's just like the structure of the situation, right? Like, I don't know. And also, yeah, I like maybe we're gonna become detached like boomers, but like I feel like some adults just have a really difficult time differentiating between like a 17-year-old and like a 12-year-old. You know what I mean? Like it's all kind of the same to them. But there's like a massive difference, like, you know, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Food for thought, but yeah. All I'm gonna say is I definitely do not have the right mindset to be like a principal or even really a teacher, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I would never.
Teach one person.
Like a one-on-one. Yeah, I could like tutor somebody. Yeah, but like I don't know. I don't know. Like trying to like exert your authority and like your wisdom over these people. Like, but like I'm just like a dude, you know. Like I don't have any special like understanding of the world. Like just working through it like everyone else. Like I don't know. Trying to maintain that authority. Like it seems kind of at some point you have to fake it, right? Because you don't have all the answers, but you have to like pretend like you do. So
I think it's better to just teach people who are older. It's easier.
True. It's just easier. Yeah.
I mean, when you're teaching people that are older, they have to have an interest in what you're doing to have gotten that far anyway. Like when you're talking to them
in college, yeah.
Right. Like in college or beyond, it's like if you're teaching someone something, like the only way that typically happens is if they either requested or are looking for that, right? So you don't have to worry about, let's say, like behavioral issues where like people aren't interested or getting distracted or doing other things. So, but when you're younger, it's like, no. I'm not gonna micromanage people's behaviors. I don't feel like doing that.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have problems with authority. All right.
You have problems with authority, Larkin?
Both having authority and like acknowledging authority. Anyway.
I don't see you as much of a rebel, to be honest, Larkin.
Oh no, I'd never speak up. I just like have like a passive disdain.
You're passive aggressive. Okay.
Well, no. I'm very amicable. I never let the emotions show. I'm just like, wow, this guy really doesn't know what they're talking about. Anyway. Always got to keep it friendly though. Everyone's trying their best. Just, I think maybe.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
You hope.
I don't know. Yeah, just like that principle. Precipitation.
Mm-hmm.
Let the kids know who's.
Is it precipitating out?
Yeah. I mean, let the kids know who's in control. So dumb. Oh my god.
Okay, high school, man. Definitely an interesting time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, yes.
I am.
What
curious.
a great podcast.
This is
just it's the topics that everybody cares about.
Right. I am kind of curious about another topical conversation.
Hit me.
This is so. I don't know if you guys have messed with this at all. I haven't really touched it yet, but the bump in like AI's presence in our collective consciousness, I guess.
Oh god, we're gonna get into this right now. Holy shit! No,
if you want, we could talk about this next week because I do also want to do some research before I actually have a conversation about this.
Yeah,
I just noticed that it's been so present,
I think I will say is that the Joe Biden Donald Trump meme has been hilarious. That's all I gotta say. Just the memes have been hilarious. I feel like so hard a meme in a long time.
I feel like I could go into this for like 3 hours easily.
Okay.
So yeah, I think we should make this like let's say this one for next week. Yeah, okay. I would say.
Yeah,
how long have we even been going?
It's been an hour and 15 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, because we started.
because we kind of had a little.
Well, we started late today, and then we also.
No, you're good.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like there's so much to say on the matter, like so many ethical considerations too. Oh my god.
There are ethical considerations, and also just I do want to talk a bit about like what the different implications are as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't looked too much into it.
Okay.
All I know is that in a couple of years it'll be terrifying, but right now it's hilarious.
I'll look forward to that one for next week. I'll come with like some talking points.
Okay.
I'll come with some presidential memes to share with the group.
Yes.
Excellent.
All right. God. I guess we can end off for today.
Right. Nice.
We had a nice deep conversation at the start, and then we reminisced about some stories towards the end. So,
is it precipitating out?
It is not precipitating out.
Not at the moment, but it may be precipitating in the near future.
It might be precipitating out when you're watching this.
Yo, what happened to that huge snowstorm? By the way, we were supposed to get.
Were you guys getting a snowstorm?
I think no, I don't think we were getting a snowstorm. That was like on the West Coast. They were getting a massive snowstorm.
Right. Oh, no snow in the
I got some snow on Wednesday. I didn't know that was supposed to be part of the storm, but
LA issued like their first blizzard warning since like '89.
When was that?
Interesting.
Like this week.
Okay, so then that must have been around the time that I got snow too.
Yeah.
It was unexpected for me, but it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, the coasts are like reversed. Like the West Coast is getting crazy snow, and then I was out in shorts like the other week because it was like 70 degrees out. Like I feel like that's supposed to be LA weather, not blizzard weather, and the blizzard weather should be here. But
yeah, things
good old climate change.
Yeah, things are really cool here right now. It's 30-ish degrees, I think, and I've had to keep my heat on the last few days, which is just annoying. Anyway, this is
why is that annoying? You don't like being comfortable?
No, I don't like having to pay more money for energy usage. I'd rather it just be warm.
Then freeze.
Yeah. Man, I gotta pay for utilities, okay? That's the adult life, right?
I don't like it. Sucks to be a grown-up.
Alrighty, guys.
Only go back to high school, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Hey, man, I've thought about that, man. I've been like, if I could just go back to high school and just like know how to code already and just like do programs and stuff in my free time, that'd be dope.
if I could just be like 1 year old, but like with all the knowledge I have
Yeah,
right now,
exactly. I'll tell my
Like,
parents.
If I could be a super genius as a baby,
right.
my life would be so different.
You know, just tell your parents about 2008. Tell them about Google.
True.
You know,
Like, imagine being like, being born in 1999, knowing everything, and then you come out of the room and the first thing you say is like, "There'll be a terrorist attack on September 11th, 2001."
Oh no!
This is a plot line,
bro.
Dude, you know, like, I remember there was like this crazy Ask Reddit thread a few years ago, where basically the prompt was like, okay, you wake up and it's just your normal self, but it's September 10th, 2001, right? How do you prevent the, and like nobody knows.
Well, okay, but when I wake up like in my
tragedy?
body as I was, or like I'm getting teleported back in time?
What? Yeah, I mean, you wake up like as your normal self, but just planted September 10th, 2001.
So like, I would be 23 years old. I wouldn't be like two.
No,
Okay,
you just be a normal body right now. Yeah.
So there are a couple problems here, right? First and foremost, you don't exist, right? So like the
question,
exist. We're being teleported back. Isn't
that the whole point?
No. What I mean by that is on a worldview, right, of your existence, you do not exist at this moment because you have not been born. There's no record of your existence this entire time.
We were born in 1999.
No. You were born in 1999, right?
No. I understand that, but like you as you are, right? You weren't born 23 years ago to the rest of the world, right?
True.
Your social security number, your any identifiable information of your existence.
What does that matter though?
Because to start with, you have zero credibility, right?
Yeah.
So if you walk up to any government entity, you will be put in a holding cell for the rest of your life, and they will question you. Right, so that's already.
But what if I get teleported back with all important documents I need to prove that I am actually from the future?
So they're to prove that you're from the future, you just have your cell phone with you.
Am I going to show them an iPhone? They would be like,
no,
what, bro?
Go back in time where like your birth certificate and your social security card and be like, literally, this is me. I'm from the future.
You could have fabricated that. You could have fabricated that.
I guess the only thing.
Like, how would you prove? The first question you have to figure out is how would you prove that you're from the future?
That's like you're so fucked.
That's the problem. How do you prove that you're credible?
So I think the route that you would go with is you're not going to prove that you're from the future within a day. So you have to figure out a way to do everything anonymously, right? Prior to that, but also you have to think about, well, what are the rules of time travel here, right? So like if you change the events of the past, do you cease to exist? Do you create a paradox? Do you destroy the entirety of the universe?
I would already exist. It's not like we're stopping our own birth by stopping 9/11. We were born before 9/11.
But you stop your own past history, right?
Okay. Let's give credit to the question and just say, like, I don't know, on September 12th, you cease to exist and life continues as normal, right? Your only mission is to stop the events of September.
Okay, so you know that you will no longer exist and you've accepted that at that point. Like, you know nothing's going to happen.
The person I am now will cease to exist after I stop the terrorists.
Right,
like, it'll be like back to the future type thing where I will just like dissolve and it'll be like separate me now in 2023.
There would just be a snap and then you'd be back in like your 2-year-old body, right? So your only purpose right now is to change the world so 9/11 doesn't happen. Right.
So I go back in time as 23 years old, and then on the 12th, I get transplanted back into my 2-year-old body.
Sure.
do I still have all the memories and knowledge and experience of when I was 23, or do I just go back to being 2, like nothing ever happened?
You're setting yourself up for round 2, but there was no 9/11.
Okay.
But do I have the knowledge that I did stop 9/11?
You wouldn't know anything.
I wouldn't know anything. I'd be going back to being a normal 2-year-old, just in the alternate timeline when 9/11 didn't happen.
Yeah. You're just setting yourself. You're setting up the world up for a better place. Yeah.
Well, then you just have to figure out how to alert the United States government that there will be a terrorist attack in 24 hours.
Exactly.
I don't know how you're doing. I don't know how you're doing that.
So,
I think you're right either way.
Okay. So here's an idea. Right. You could try to cause the terrorist attack on September 10th, right? Do a terrible job, right? And like I don't know, you hijack like one plane and you
so you're saying do a slightly less egregious thing on September 10th, like instead of like
you hijack one plane and instead of like crashing it, you just fly it to like a nearby airport, but the whole time you're screaming like I'm gonna kill everybody, whatever, right? Like You know, so then they're on super high alert the next day. Okay.
Well, wasn't one of the big issues with 9/11 that at the time the idea was you just give them whatever they want and assume that at the end of the day they will, if you give them what they want, they will like give up the hostages and stuff like that, because there was a huge shift after
the whole thing was that there was absolutely no airport security. Like before 9/11, there was no like security that you had to go through. There was none of that. You would just, it would be like, getting like on a bus. It would just be like you give them the ticket and you just walk to the terminal. And like the whole thing too is like there was no like security on a plane. Like that you could before 9/11 too. Like like the cockpit door was always open. You could just see the pilots in the cockpit from your seat. That was only after 9/11 that they made that so that door has to be closed and that they had security to begin with. So
I think the idea of do not negotiate with terrorists also came from that too. I don't think that was as prevalent beforehand, right? Because I think the idea was, well, they want something, right? So you will negotiate with them and figure out what they want and give them what they want so that you can help the people that are in danger, right? And I think after the fact, it's like, yes, you had the security changes, but also the idea that if something like that happens, like you're not going to give them what they want because there's no guarantee of safety at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
So I would suggest maybe trying to figure out what planes are there, right? And bring your own and bring your own. Yeah, you try to take them out yourself.
You get on the flight and fight them.
Yeah.
But there's like three planes. You can only stop one of them, though. Right, it would just be a slightly not as bad 9/11. Like
True.
Like if
hold on.
Or
you don't have to stop them on the plane. You can attack them.
Stop them at the airport.
Bro. Yeah, you bring a handgun to the airport and just.
Did all the flights originate from the same spot? I have no idea.
I don't think so. Wait, I don't remember actually.
I don't know.
Was one of them from Boston or something? I know they were like transcontinental flights, right? But
I don't think they were. I don't think they were like domestic flights. They're all like international. I'm pretty sure.
They can't all have been the same. Like one of them was aiming for the Pentagon.
So we go a step further. We go a step further back, and instead of stopping them at the airport, we just stop them at their base of operations.
Find them the day before. Okay.
Well, this is how are you going to break into their base of operations by yourself, though?
It's like okay. Imagine.
I'm coming from 22 years in the future. My technology is going to be insane compared to theirs. Okay.
True. Okay. Imagine we have a week to prepare for this trip back to September 10th, 2001. Right. We can get information on all these people. We can get it. We can get guns.
So you have all the information that you need as well. Right. Okay. So if that's the case, right? Well, did you say you have weaponry as well? You just said.
Yeah, I mean we could bring back some stuff, right? So
okay.
Bring back
so you can bring stuff with you.
Yeah.
I would bring a military drone with me. Find out where their base of operations is.
Not a bad idea.
And then.
Yeah.
Ideally, I mean, I don't know what the technology disparity was, but like maybe they would for the government level to be able to spot my drone or whatever, but I would just send it over to whatever that base is and have it destroyed at that point.
Dude, yeah. Honestly, I was just thinking you could bring like a missile launcher.
Yeah.
You could bring like a rocket launcher and just like find their house and just.
Right.
Like military technology has advanced so much since then. We would absolutely destroy them.
Right.
Well, actually, like even like 20 years ago, like like sometimes like streamers get like swatted.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
People still do that. People still get swatted now.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. But if that was true 20 years ago, call in anonymous hotline, swat their house.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Swat their house, like no need to take them out.
Swat the terrorist house.
Yeah. They'll find all the papers, all the preparation.
Well, so long as they're, I don't know if they're domestic though. That would only work if they're in the U.S.
But they must have been the day before, right?
Depends on where the flight originated from. I don't have that information. Like I don't know.
I thought they all originated from. I don't think any of them were domestic. Didn't they all come from outside the United States?
I thought they were all domestic flights.
I don't remember. I was like 2 years old. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I've read this.
I don't remember. I was a baby. I was just sitting there eating food from a spoon.
Oh, okay. Question.
No, it was a. Okay,
two from
so
Boston,
at least the
one
first.
from Washington, one from New York.
Oh, so they were domestic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were intending to fly across country. Yeah.
Okay, so they were all domestic. Yeah, I guess you could.
Yeah.
I don't know where the
All right, we go swap them.
people, like if they were visiting or if they actually had homes in the area or whatever. But
swap the hotel.
Right.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's public information at this point, right?
Yeah.
Like,
very possible.
I'm sure we can figure it out. Yeah, there we go.
We figured it out.
Anyway,
we cracked the code.
For just in case you guys ever get in that situation, you know what to do.
No, okay.
Right.
Now we know what to do. In case we're ever teleported back to September 10th, 2001.
Yeah, with all the knowledge we need. And
with all the knowledge,
weapons.
the papers, the weaponry.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I guess. Well, actually, we don't even need any weaponry. Just call.
We don't need the weaponry. We just need a phone.
Just get a couple. Get a couple of quarters for a payphone. That's all we need.
True. True. We can't use our cell phone. We need fucking quarters. Oh my god.
I don't think our cell phones would work because.
No, there would be no towers.
Yeah, no cell towers. Yeah.
No cell towers.
There were no cell towers 20 years ago.
I mean, there were like radio
there was no cell phones.
towers.
Well, when
radio towers.
When were the first satellites set up for? Actually, no. Those networks probably wouldn't.
I mean, there were cell phones before 2001, but even if there were cell towers, they would definitely not be compatible with your 5G iPhone 14.
True. That's true.
You have to go back to like a 2001 era smartphone to even do anything.
Pick up my mom's Nokia. I think it's somewhere in the house.
Dumb phone. Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
You gotta bring back one of those old pagers.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
A beeper.
Yeah.
Just page the DOD.
Page the DOD.
Oh my god. Yeah. Anyway, interesting thought experiments.
Yeah.
Indeed.
But yeah. Indeed. Holy shit.
Well, on that note.
On that lovely note.
On that note, yeah, I guess we can end off for today. Thank you all for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed our thought experiments, our reminiscing of the past, as well as our talks about Russia, I guess.
And
let us know. Yes, and that. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Would you do anything differently from what we just described if you were in the same situation? If you liked the video, please like the video and subscribe for more videos on this channel. There's more episodes of the in a playlist for the podcast as well, so definitely check that out as well. All right, bye guys.
Bye.
Bye.